Oh, yeah. Yep.
Good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. Yeah. Is it up? We're going to call the meeting to order of the Trenton Board of Education, December 17, 2025, 5:30 p.m. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Gerald Trueheart.
Present.
Denise Johnson, absent. Gene Bowie.
Present.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Present.
Austin Edwards.
Present.
Yolanda Lopez.
Present.
Larry Traylor.
Present.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Present.
Danelli De Leon.
Present.
Oscar Santos.
Present.
Wilbert Gomez.
Present.
We have a quorum.
The New Jersey Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right to the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted on. On the rules of this act, the Trenton Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting by publicizing the date, time, and place, therefore posted on the website, the Times, and the Star Ledger. Formal action will take place at this meeting. Our mission statement: all students will graduate with a vision for the future, motivated to learn continually, and prepared to succeed in their choice of college or career. Our superintendent's remarks.
Good evening. Welcome on this crisp fall or winter. Gosh, we're getting out of fall into winter. Yes. Me? You good? Yes. So thank you. Welcome, everyone. This evening we have a presentation, a student presentation, so we're going to start with our student who's here. We have a presentation from the Future Forward program that was offered and implemented for incoming students grades 7 through 12 during the summer. We have a secondary team. We have the secondary team from the Teaching and Learning Department, a representative from the summer program from Tanga, Ms. Flores, the science teacher, as well as a student, I think one. If I missed one, please, you'll be able to introduce yourselves in a minute anyway, from the secondary school to share the summary of their activity that took place in the summer. Students engaged in a project-based learning activity, PBL, and we talk about that often, which is designed for a real-world scenario. Through robust professional sessions, students had access to resources and data to create and imagine a solution through their digital devices. We're proud of our students and staff who work tirelessly to create a solution, becoming change agents. We also used Apple native apps. Apple EDU is implemented in districts. We use that to create all affiliated presentation materials and illustrations, which supported a direct implementation of the Apple EDU initiative. So I just want to preface or say that this is regarding graduation data. Our students had an opportunity to take real data and take it back and create. And so what they'll share with you tonight is certainly not implemented, It's a timeline that's not real necessarily, but some of the information is. And so as we listen to it and think about it, we will certainly get our high school teams involved in listening if there are opportunities here from the information that they have taken. So their real world scenario was graduation data from Trenton Public Schools. So it's really exciting to hear them. So I'm going to ask everyone involved to come forward and present it this time.
Need a motion to adopt the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Properly moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Roll call.
Joe Trueheart.
Yes.
Denise Johnson, absent. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Denelli De Leon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Good evening, President Trueheart, Superintendent Earl, board members, and our general public. Thank you for creating this opportunity for the Teaching and Learning Department to share with you our Future Forward program. The Future Forward program, project-based learning think tank, is a student-centered initiative that our department has designed. It is based on solving real community challenges while building skills that help students graduate ready for both college, career, and life. Tonight, we're pleased to present to you our students and our teachers, as well as our work that brought this program to life. In honor of them and all of their efforts, we ask that you hold all of your questions and comments till the end of our presentation. Our PBL think tank brought together students from grades 7 through 12 across the district to Capital City High School. They worked in small groups with their teachers and provided support to one another. Their teachers came from elementary, middle, and high schools. And so this created an opportunity to ensure that all students had exactly what they needed to grow. Before the program kicked off, we provided the teachers with training on PBL, which is known as project-based learning. And that training centered on the GRASP model, which includes the goal, the role, the audience, the scenario, the product, which they'll present to you tonight, and their standards. They used best practice for research, including note-taking and presentation skills. Our goal was really simple. It was to help students engage deeply with rigorous work and communicate their ideas clearly and effectively. Essentially, we used a simulation-based activity to ensure that students can tackle real-world issues and present potential solutions through a hypothetical situation. This supports their desire to engage in reality-based learning and be included in decision-making processes. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Why this work with PBL? Because problems that our students were tackling are real things that are affecting the city and affect day in, day out. This program, if you look up here, was to build student agency, strengthen data analysis and problem-solving skills, and develop public speaking. All practices students need beyond the classroom. If you look up here, we engaged in 3 parts: problem identification, research and solution thinking, and product solution presentations to culminate our program. As Fatima mentioned, in every project we define our goal, take on a role, a real role that students will participate with in the real world, identify who is that audience, in this case it's you guys this evening, and frame a real scenario with a solution that is standards-based to our New Jersey curriculum. Most importantly, we connect everything to real problems, improving graduation rates. So our learning translates into action. We move through those 3 steps, and tonight you're going to see what our students in grades 7 through 12 were up to this summer.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Our students in 7th and 8th grade were presented with a task centered on the goal of some challenges that make it hard for students to finish high school. So their task was to brainstorm, research, and analyze factors that they believe would be most critical for success. The students used mind maps and Post-its as their brainstorming methods to begin thinking deeper about the problems that were presented to them. They broke into teams and they completed research on their area of focus to create a strong foundation of the identified problem. The research that they conducted in teams included academic factors that contribute to graduation outcomes, socioeconomic factors, as well as our students who are multi-language learners, students with disabilities, and students who are dually identified, meaning students who are both multi-language learners and students who have individualized education programs. Next up, we have our student representative, Adonai, who's going to speak to our high school students.
Hello, good evening. I'm Adonai Williamson, and I'm presenting the Trenton Pathfinders. The Trenton Pathfinders is our student-led pathway to graduation and beyond. We learn how to set goals, manage stress, and advocate for ourselves so we can succeed in class, at work, and in life. It's not extra work, it's the how behind doing well. Finding mentors, building routines, and using practical tools that make school feel doable. Here we'll share the biggest reasons students fall behind and how early support can change that. Our mission focuses around a peer mentorship program that builds trust over time and helps support a new culture of desegregation between our students so that we have students from different cultures like Hispanic students and Black students intermixing and mentoring each other and learning from each other. That way they can build on each other. That is our end goal, and that is our main goal. That's it. Every student has a peer and go-to adult. If we hit a problem, like missing work or family issue, they know exactly who to talk to and what steps to take. Pathfinders is student-led and pairs a freshman with a junior for a 2-year period that includes structured check-ins, academic support, and social-emotional stability. This would result in stronger student connections across grades to support more accessible ways to improve graduation rates between students. So this is how we organize Trenton peers. It would be 9th graders learning from 10th graders, and then the 10th graders essentially moving up and becoming 11th graders so that the 9th graders would have the same mentor all year round for their 4-year period, and that way they get to know each other better and build more of a friendly bond between each other. We need the principal support to encourage this and get us the staff needed to further, enable it. And we need the superintendent to fund it and the school board to further that. Okay, I believe that's it. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Thank you. It brings me great pleasure to represent the work that our 9th grade students performed this past summer in our summer enrichment program at Capital City High School. The name that our students in 9th grade gave themselves was Together We Thrive. And essentially, they proposed closing the graduation gap by providing a set of supports to their fellow students, inspiring resilience, confidence, and opportunity. They want to create a safe, nurturing, and inclusive environment that'll support them, because we know as adults, sometimes, we deal with situations, difficult situations, right? Sometimes we feel a little anxiety. Natural, right? That's a human thing. Sometimes we have to manage our anger, right, when things get to us. And we also have to lean on each other, right, in order to develop more positive solutions to very difficult problems. And that's exactly what our ninth grade students proposed. In fact, they even set a SMART goal around this. And SMART, as you may know, and we helped them learn this past summer, is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. And I know relevant as well, but the bottom line is they set a goal of reducing graduation dropout by 1% each year over the next 4 years through an emotional support group model where they basically will roll out various programs that help students deal with these issues that come up really in everyday life. And if our students learn to do this now, imagine how much more powerful they'll be when they become adults like you and I, right? Making decisions on behalf of the community, right? Decisions that support families and students. So this is an example. This is not an actual, real proposal, but the students envisioned that if they were to obtain the necessary approvals from, building administrators, assistant superintendents, superintendent, and of course the board, that they may roll out an emotional support awareness program, something like this, where 1 week they may be talking about, what the purpose is of their initiative. Next week, hey guys, let's lean on each other this week, just to raise awareness as to those kind of social competencies. These aren't things that we really teach in the classroom on a day-to-day basis, at least explicitly, but maybe implicitly. Good teachers do this all the time, right? As well as good principals and counselors and administrators. Regulating anger, of course, self-motivation. These are other things, of course, that they do. It's just an example of what they came up with. They also gave you more of a breakdown of what one particular week might look like. So if you're someone who's struggling with anxiety, what kinds of questions can you ask your fellow students to get them to think about that might help you deal with some of the issues in terms of how you deal with anxiety? What are the triggers, and how do you overcome it? So I'm not going to read this for you word for word, but this is what our students came up with. I didn't come up with this, but I am proud to represent them in their absence. And finally, these are some additional structures, a call to action. How do we get people to galvanize in terms of supporting each other? Because in the end, when the going gets rough, all we have is each other. So how are we going to support each other when times really get rough, right? How are we going to rise above very difficult and challenging circumstances? Well, this is what our students suggested. And actually, a lot of these things are kind of already in place. It's just a matter of being more intentional about using the resources we already have. I mean, do we not have access to meeting spaces? We have lots of classrooms. Even if they're being used, we can always find an opening where students and counselors and teachers can use a classroom to discuss certain things. Sharing data, right? Now, some data is very personal. Obviously, we're not going to share that data. But there are other sets of data that's more generic that students can learn about each other from directly that will give them the ability to support each other. We may need to support them in terms of funding, right? There are various sources of funding, which may come and go from year to year. Building community connections, of course. We already have pencils, paper, notebook, iPads. They already know how to use them very well. Okay, so the question is, how do they use these tools more intentionally, right? As the fifth mathematical practice says, use tools strategically, right, to solve problems, essentially. So, again, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the board, Superintendent Earl. Thank you to our assistant superintendents. And thank you to our students and teachers, as well as the members of the public who came here to join us tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. At this time, we will have our student board representatives comments. So you're going to introduce yourself and then share.
Good evening, President Trueheart, Superintendent Earl, and board members. My name is Oscar Santos, the Vice President of Trenton Public School District Student Government Association. Recently, we have been meeting with Principal Courtney and other administrators about student concerns and are pleased to report that the improvements made to the Yonder Pouches system in the morning has greatly improved things and students are getting in at a much faster pace. We reported that not all communities have open bathroom doors for students, and Principal Courtney reinforced with staff, and there must be open bathrooms for students use that are unlocked. We also discussed the use of vaping pens and students smoking weed in some bathrooms. And based upon our conversation, the Principal Courtney called the action about reinforcement of monitoring and discipline. Things have gotten better in the areas as well. We would like to have a more security on site on the building for the safety and security of students and staff. While we understand that this is a budgetary item, we respectfully ask the administration to consider providing more security at the high school and have a school resource officer present on site for added security, or members of the Trenton Community Street Team that have successfully passed a security background check.
Good evening, President Trueheart, Superintendent Earls, and board members. My name is Wilbur Gomez-Baez, the Treasurer of Trenton Public School District Student Government Association. I would like to take a moment to share a few school highlights with you all tonight. Trenton Central High School has recently started a food pantry led by Mrs. Dent, the teacher leader of Health Professions Academy, with the purpose of helping underprivileged students. On September 25th, we will have a EOF workshop hosted by Mercer County College, TRIO, and Upper Bound programs at the high school. On Thursday, November 20th, Mercer County Human Resources representatives will be meeting with class of 2026 to discuss internship programs and job opportunities with the county. We also want to highlight that Joyce Gilmore Intermediate Schools will be hosting a ribbon-cutting event for their new library and host and family literacy night on Tuesday, November 25th at 5 p.m. in their new media center. The Student Government Association and the rest of our students and staff would like to take a moment to recognize the loss of Mrs. Simmons, who was one of our secretary within the STEM community at TCHS, who recently passed away and will be funeralized tomorrow, as well as a TCHS student Gushia Mainsher, who recently lost his life in a tragic incident. We would like to ask for a moment of silence for them both. Thank you.
Thank you, student representatives, and thank you for the presentation. You are amazing young people, and we so appreciate you taking the time to come out this evening to share with us and to be a part of this board meeting, and for your commitment to serve. Young man, thank you for sharing your experience and giving us information. And giving us information about some of the findings, which are interesting, and something that the superintendent sits here to tell you we will certainly take a look at, and thankfully you all shared that information. We'll get with the high school teams and just share it to see where we might be able to go with that. So thank you again to all of the students who presented, the teachers who supported, the supervisors who coordinated, down that list. We appreciate your work. So one more thing to share this evening. I know many of you, if you haven't, you probably will or should read. There was an article recently about Trenton's decision not to engage in the literacy grant process. And there's lots of questions, lots of misunderstandings about that process. And so I wanted to just take an opportunity here. I have like 4 pages of notes, so I won't read them all because that's not On this topic, I could probably go for 2 hours because it means that much to me that people understand what we do. But I'll do my best to summarize where we stand in this process and why we stand there. So let's talk about timeline of events. Governor Murphy put his first broadcast out regarding these initiatives in May of 2025. So that's important because we start planning and budget approval like now, December, then January, February, March, and anybody who knows budgeting knows that we make all major decisions that we have to submit to the board and this community for approval by May. And so that came out in May, and it was just that these initiatives were introduced. The actual broadcast releasing the grants came out July 28th. So again, and July 29th. And so I have this document. I'm probably going to do a video and then post this document because I want it to be clear. Also, just a quick note, we don't accept or apply for many grants, but I would assume that because this one said literacy, that we are on the hook to be able to respond, which I don't mind doing, but we don't do this for any other grant. And tonight, I just wanted to make sure you're clear why we did not apply for the grant. So with the approval on the 28th, remember, we've approved, started ordering, if not ordered, all of our resources for the new year. Technical assistance trainings, technical assistance for every grant is offered from the state. That's an opportunity to go learn more about that opportunity to see if it fits you. So you can decide in this particular case whether you want to enter that agreement or not. So on August 6th, we signed up to attend. On August the 11th, we signed up to attend, and August 14th to go learn about these grant opportunities. So it wasn't missed on our part with a deadline of August 21st, which means after the last session, we would have had to make a decision in 7 days to submit for the grants. And so I want to painstakingly read, in order for TPAs to submit the application for any one of these grants listed below, the district would have had less than 7 working days to do so. Fine, we could have gotten that done. In order for us to submit one of the outline grants, TPS would have had to find a way to discontinue or cancel the delivery of previous orders that we already had in place for the school year. And that's not judging what was in the grant. That's just telling you we make decisions now. All decisions are starting to be made. We're talking about the budget right now, and Mrs. Howard can tell you that. We've had 2 or 3 budget conversations. We're about to start with principals, so we do that early. We also would have had to secure professional development. Remember, we don't do anything in district anymore without there being high levels of training for our staff. It wouldn't be fair to say, oh, by the way, in August or September, we are doing this and you just need to do it. So that was a big reason. So there are 3 major grants, and there are only a couple more statements I want to make to be clear about this. Grant 1 is cultivating ongoing achievement through coaching and literacy. That's called the Coach L grants. And that's the first grant, and the big reason is we cannot depend on the funds to be reallocated because we have to reapply every year. These funds come from the federal government. If you've been watching what's happening in our world, education is a place where funding may or may not be available for public schools, private schools, or whoever it's for. So we have to be really careful about how we enter agreements to make sure we don't make poor decisions and then we're stuck out there attempting to do something that we don't have funding for. So that's the big reason. I have 5 more reasons that I won't read for that one. Grant number 2, instructional materials for professional development and coherent teaching. That's called IMPACT. So the big reason there is we would have had to adopt a whole new Tier 1 literacy resource in order to apply and be awarded the Impact Literacy Grant. So we already have Tier 1 work happening in district. Sometimes grants are just, as they say, it's a grant to support us. The assumption, though, is that these things may not be happening in district, and I want it to be clear to our public and the people we serve, the kids who enter our schools, the parents who drop them off. There's work happening here. Deep, detailed. I'm reading 12 points of a 4-page response, and that should tell you this goes deep. We did our work on this particular grant, so we did not want to adopt a new Tier 1 resource. Grant 3, Reading Intervention for Secondary Schools, Secondary Engagement, that's called RISE. So there are 3 components to the literacy grant. We have made a conscious effort in this district toward consistency. What we do this year, we want to inform, evaluate, and do again, do it better, throw out the things that don't work. But to disrupt anything that we're doing in the district just is not a place we want it to be at this time. Does not mean if this is offered at an appropriate time, we see a specific need to support our children, that we wouldn't apply again. So I want to give you a quick example, and then I'll get off of this. So my colleagues that work with me know that we applied and received the High Impact Tutoring Grant, and many of the board members asked me about the High Impact Tutoring Grant, and we received a large sum of money. And we were so excited because we were doing great work around high impact tutoring already. We had an outside resource. We had scores of teachers working with young people, and we thought, so we have this money, and this is going to be a great opportunity. So there were restrictions on that funding, and we could barely get it out of the door. We could barely spend any of it because of the restrictions. Fast forward to being at NJ school boards, where some of us go to talk to people who seem to have better information about us than we do. We learned that they were very clear. They understood that Trenton is not the only district that struggled to implement those funds because of the restrictions. It had to be person to person and with certified teachers in district, right? Or certified teachers elsewhere. We don't know where we're finding those. So we couldn't go with a virtual platform. We couldn't have live teachers in district in front of students. And that's what we thought when we received that money. So I want to be clear with our public, with our board, when there is a grant opportunity, we will do every stitch of homework possible. And will we miss? That's the nature of people. We might miss it, but it won't be because we don't have information. We will go into this, and I know that the article inflames people. You should have all been outraged to read that we didn't accept literacy funds, but that assumes and makes the assumption that we are not literate in this district. There are so many forms of literacy. Our kids can do amazing things in this district, and we understand that. Reading on level is different than reading, and we have, in every presentation to our board and to our public, we have always said, we're going to share with you some of the great successes, but oh my gosh, do we have so much work to do. So I'm here to tell the board, the public, that we're back to do the work. We were back after the article, before the article. We'll be back tomorrow doing that work. I invite anyone who wants to do that work with us. And we believe a lot of what was written in the article is factual. We're not disputing. We're just saying, understand, I invite you all to my desk or to a space with me and let us talk one more time about who we serve. Because when you talk about who we serve, you ask less questions. You just get to work because we're way, way behind in some of the spaces we are. So I promised that I wouldn't rant on this. but I thought it was really important to put out there. There's a 4-page document that I would post if anybody's actually interested, and that I hope that in the future, my doors are open, my desk is available. If you want to know what's happening, we come here once a month and we talk about it often. We have lots of information out about, and we're not fooled about our success, but I am proud of the work that our kids do every day. When you walk in our buildings, some of these team members walking in, we won't quit. This won't solve our issue. We're back to do the work. So I appreciate you indulging me for a few minutes. Went longer than I will ever go on on superintendent comments. But thank you for listening.
Before some of the students about to depart, just wanted to really thank the students. Oscar, Wilbur, great job. Thank you so much as student representatives to the board, sharing your thoughts from the entire student body of Trenton Board of Education. And of course, Crystal Feliciano, Councilwoman Crystal Feliciano. I was getting there. For the work that you're doing in training and building those students up. I also want a student did leave who presented tonight. So he's still here? Where is he? Oh, here he is. Okay. Get a round of applause for all of our students who are here. And of course, all of our teachers and administrators who support the work that they're doing that allows them to be so prolific here in front of us and share with us some great news, and some news we need to hear about. I do thank you so much for the moment of silence. We do have a tragedy in our district. I won't get into the details of that. Of course, it was in the paper, but thank you so much for recognizing that and having empathy for the community and a prayer of silence. So thank you so much, and continue your good work in school, and we look forward to seeing you again. God bless you. Yes, absolutely.
So I just missed a quick presentation. I have two of my graduated students here who are going to share how the Yonder Pouch system works. You've heard about all of this Yonder Pouch, and what was it, 276 comments online about Yonder Pouches. So we want to demystify, and you heard the students talking about how it's, over time it just gets better. Our students make it work, and our staff, and so we're so appreciative. But Mrs. Grant and Dr. Conway are going to share. On the left, you have the device that unlocks the Yonder Pouch, and Mrs. Grant has the pouch itself. And so you walk up to it, you put it on there like you see in a store, and then it opens. Each student can slide their phone inside.
That's brave.
She's trusted it.
It locks up. Wow. Oh, okay. Can you open it? You gonna get it back? Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
There it is. So. Yeah, they didn't have a lot of practice, but they did a good job. So. Thank you. Yeah. I just wanted to share that because, and then show people we understand, but we're seeing students connect better in our buildings as a result of not having to have that device in their face all the time. So thank you.
And they keep that device in their Yonder Pouch.
They keep
there
the Yonder
all day
Pouch.
long.
Yep,
all
it's
day.
in their possession, so they don't lose their phone. So,
And that's 7th grade up through 12th.
7th
to 12th.
Yeah, 7 through 4 through 12.
4 through 12.
Yeah.
4 through 12. So that's good. That was it. Oh, great. All right. That's good. Thank you. I did also I want to recognize some special guests that we have in our board meeting this evening for the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa, Pursuit of Excellence, a challenge to fulfill. Two are retired administrators in our district, Dr. Cheryl Heath and Dr. Carolyn Gibson, who are here this evening, as well as Talea Wilson, also a member of that sorority as well, and any other members of the sorority who are here that I don't recognize here tonight, but Jocelyn, where's Jocelyn Still? Oh, hey, Jocelyn. Hey, how you doing? Jocelyn Still and any other members who are here. We thank you. We recognize the work that you're doing and have done and continue to do for students, not only in our district, but around the state and around the country for that matter. But we're really interested in focusing on, of course, our students here in the city of Trenton and the scholarships that you provide to them, and of course your annual fundraiser that's coming up. We look forward to always participating in your fundraiser that's coming up at Cobblestone Creek, which is in Lawrence Township. So we look forward to attending and being a part of that festivities and that fundraiser and all the joy that comes out of that, and your ability at that point to raise money for student scholarships and the like. So thank you so much for your work that you're doing and your service to our district. Thank you. One of the things I did want to share with the board is we will have our board goals, which are primarily professional development goals, are ready for review in our governance committee meeting. And I'd like to present those in December for board approval. And primarily, it's around all of our professional development goals. Number one being to maintain the Carl E. Larson Master Board Certification. And then also, as we continue to matriculate as board members, we have some new board members on board tonight. God bless you, Sister De Leon, here tonight. We'd like her to get, of course, her new board member certification. Then we also have the level of certified board member, master board member, and certified board leader. And many of us here tonight hold one of those certification positions. And so I want to encourage us to continue in our professional development as a part of our board goals that are different than our district goals, which are the superintendent's district goals in terms of what our district's going to be doing that relate to our strategic plan. But just wanted to outline those 4 primary certifications as board members. We're also a certified board, master certified board, and so we'll make sure we continue to maintain our master board certification, which requires us to have a continuous professional development. Thank you, Yolanda. Continuous professional. Under Yolanda's leadership, we became a master certified board, and so I always want to give kudos where kudos are due. And Yolanda did a great job in keeping us on task and many, many nights of professional development over a short period of time to really get us in line to get our master board certification. One of the first in Mercer County, the first, see, I get correct, the first in Mercer County, and one of 30 around the state. One of 30 around the state. There's over 600 plus districts in the state. Each have a board, right? So you can imagine we're up in the top echelon, percentage-wise, of boards in the state of New Jersey. And so I just want to make sure that we recognize that and we continue that work as a part of our overall board goals. One other thing I wanted to share with the board, let me get back to my notes. In our governance committee this past week, we discussed our agreement with New Jersey School Boards Association. We're coming to the end, as you know, board members, of our strategic plan, 5-year strategic plan in 2026, and we want to continue working our strategic plan with a new version, of course, continuing the work that we've already done around our continued 5-year plan. It's really a continuation of our current plan, but we have an agreement with New Jersey School Boards Association to support us in that effort. Our rep is Mary Ann Freeman. She delivered that agreement to us, and we shared that in committee, not only governance committee, but operations committee, and boards. You have it on the finance agenda to approve tonight. Once that is approved tonight, in January, after the holiday season, in January, the governance committee will meet with Mary Ann Freeman, begin to work out the logistics and the plans around how we're going to implement our next 5-year strategic plan initiative into our community. Of course, we will involve other and all of our board members in that process in our community, but those plans will be worked out in January. Once we approve the agreement tonight, we're going to then approve the agreement tonight at our November board meeting. We'll sit down with Mary Ann Freeman in January with our superintendent, with the governance committee initially, and to begin to work the plans logistically of how we're going to implement our next 5-year, 3 to 5 year strategic plan. And so I wanted to share those brief notes with you. I also sent some information to the superintendent, Ms. Howard, Mr. Roll, and Denise Johnson, our vice president, around our board dates for next year, just to kind of get ahead of the curve. Our board dates, because as you remember last year, we had to add dates to the board calendar for our superintendent's evaluation and other things. So I mapped out a calendar for all of 2026 for us to review in governance committee, and then for the full board to take a look at. So we're all on one accord in terms of what we need to do in 2026 to meet all of our obligations, whether it's board self-evaluation, superintendent's evaluation, and other requirements that we have as a board. So that's coming. That also includes presentations throughout the year. Some are mandatory presentations, some are presentations we want to give, like the presentation we gave tonight, which was a great presentation to share not only with our board, but with our community. So we have that plan as well. So we're working out a plan of action to present to the full board at our December meeting. There will still be a draft at that point, so we'll be able to add value to that from all of our board members. So that's all I have tonight as board president remarks, and also as the governance chair, the committee for governance for the Trenton Board of Education. We have teaching and learning next with Addie Daniels-Lane. Thank you.
So good evening. The Teaching and Learning Committee met on Tuesday, November the 11th. The meeting began with a discussion of a tiered intervention model that's going to be piloted, targeted toward assisting students who may be struggling in certain areas, and also a discussion about the current reading curriculum. We then moved to the agenda items that were listed. Some of the highlights, there was a discussion of a proposal regarding a music therapy program at Monument. There's a partnership with the Rutgers Graduate School, along with the College of New Jersey. And we also talked about the Future Ready Voices. And also, we talked a little bit about identifying a vendor for a new benchmark pilot for language arts and math. We also discussed the literacy grant that you heard about a little bit earlier from the superintendent, and some of the reasoning behind why there was not an application for some of these specific grants, and you heard all those reasons discussed earlier. In addition, we received an update regarding special education and the fact that the budgeting process has begun for the 26-27 school year, that the standard operational procedures for RNRS updates on helping educators understand behavioral versus academic challenges. And there was also a discussion about a complaint from October and a corrective action plan that was assigned, and the fact that the school district is working to address or to resolve that particular complaint and implement the corrective action plan. So that was the meeting for, again, teaching and learning, as well as the update for special education from, again, the Teaching and Learning Committee. Thank you.
Good evening. We also met Tuesday. Hope you guys could hear me. I got a big, we're good? Okay, great. As usual, we discuss transfers, the secretary's report, the treasurer's report, staff traveled, and the bill list. And for October 15th through October 31st, we paid $457,500 in bills. And I'm going to save the donations for later, because I really want to take some time earlier today earlier this evening, the superintendent talked about our budget cycle and about the time that we complete our budgets. And so this is rather extensive, so I'm not going to hit all the points, but I think folks should understand what that process looks like. And so July starts our budget year. It constitutes the beginning of the budget year that we've already decided last year, right? So we're planning for the 2026 year now. August, and I'm just going to go down the list here. August, the board's treasurer's report is due to the county by August 1st. In October, we reviewed the budget calendar with the leadership team, so that's the superintendent and his team. In November, we distribute budget guidance to the leadership team because student-based budget means that at every school you spend that money based on the students that are in the school. We review the budget calendar with the operations committee, which is me and my colleagues. The superintendent and school business administrator meet with the leadership team to provide guidance and assistance on the budget. And you heard me talk about transfers just a minute ago. I like to commend the superintendent and his direct leadership team, but also the school leaders, because we have gotten very, very good over the past few years as it relates to the volume of transfers, which simply means that they're planning their work and then they're working their plan so that they don't have to move money around. So kudos to folks. Let's see. The START conversations about non-negotiable staff, reallocations of staff, summer programming, course eliminations, additions, and RFPs, and the purchasing freeze letter is distributed in general funds. So this is November. This is the month that we're in right now, right? In December, we develop enrollment projections. The annual audit is presented to the operations committee. The annual audit is also presented to the public at that time. And continuing discussions on non-negotiable staff, reallocation of staff, summer programs, and course eliminations. In January, the leadership budget is due by January 9th. Distribute the budget instructions and guidance to principals. Final conversations on those non-negotiable reallocation of staff occur. And principals meet with their staff to prepare the budget. They prepare cash flow for the summer ESY and summer school. And then in February, school budgets are due to the business office by February 6th. The superintendent and leadership team with the principals discuss the budgets from February 9th through the 13th. Budget revisions are done between February 16th and the 20th. Primary budget is presented to the board. The governor makes his address in February. Budgets are entered into the state DOE net. Superintendent, school administrator, human resources meet with union and staff around reductions and additions. They finalize cash flow projections for the summer programming, prepare the capital budget. The purchasing freeze letter is sent out on grants. And in March, budget submission is adopted by the board. The budget submitted to the county office for approval. Conversations with the unions and staff on reductions and additions. Board approves the request for proposals and bids for the 2025-2026 school year. That's what just happened. It's April, public hearings on the budget presentation. If you've attended those, the superintendent and the business manager actually go through the presentation so you understand where that money's going. One of the key slides in that presentation for me is the dollar, because they tell you where every penny in that dollar is spent and where it's going. Meet with principals concerning summer maintenance projects, continuing conversation with the unions about and staff on reductions and additions. And then in May, the board approves requests for proposals, bids for goods and services needed for the 2026-2027 school year. The board approves staff appointments and renewals, and staff shall prepare general fund requisitions for processing goods and services for the upcoming school year. So as you see, there are a lot of moving parts to this, and we've gotten very efficient and effective in managing these processes, and that's why year over year we keep getting those awards around fiscal responsibility, because it's important. And then the very last thing, sorry that took so long. Okay. The very last thing is acknowledging those folks that support our children. And so the organization is Pay It Forward Enterprise. The donation is 14 travel luggage suitcases, 15 crock pots, 22 mattresses valued at $5,000 for school support, family, and community engagement. Shine and Inspire, hygiene products, clothing, hats, backpacks, packs, valued at $2,500 for family and community engagement. Aramart, 50 Thanksgiving baskets, valued at $2,500, family and community engagement. WellPoint, a $1,000 check for family and community engagement. And Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Epsilon, Zeta Chapter, school supplies valued at $250 to Joyce Kilmer Intermediate School. And we thank those folks for their sacrifices for our children.
Good evening. The Facilities Committee met on November 11th. Ongoing capital maintenance projects, currently the Ziegler warehouse building. We're in the process of demolishing it to build a new bus facility. We've run into some roadblocks with PSE&G, as usual. Poles being too close to the building and them refusing not to move them. So everything is pretty much on hold, and we're waiting for confirmations from PSE&G to move lines, and so we can knock the whole building down and start the project. The other projects going on, Hedgepath Williams and PGA Hill have received flooring upgrades and new furniture. The Gregory School window replacement, the architect and engineer approved the final plans for the window replacement. The work is slated for the summer of 2026. Chiller units replaced. Gregory School, the chiller unit was installed and commissioned, so that's up and running now. The admin building, which is this building, the chiller unit has been resized and approved by the engineers to be installed. Building and grounds inspections, health and safety evaluations were uploaded and submitted to the Mercer County offices. The site walkthrough inspections are still to be determined, and the DEP has scheduled to start an integrated pest management inspections on November 12th. And other than that, that was all we had on the list.
All right. Okay, sure, for the HR report. We met this past Wednesday, and I just specifically want to highlight a few things for the board. A few sections, specifically B, the new hires, and the few positions, especially those that are coming in at over six-figure jobs, right? And I joke around and I say this all the time. I often wonder why I went to law school, and here I am, you know, still paying back these student loans, but here we are. But not just that section B, but section F, also those people who are retiring with, and I calculated, over 26 years on average, right? And one person who's retiring from the district with over 40 years who've been serving in the district. And then finally, Section M, the salary adjustments, where we're giving additional salary to those who can provide proof that they've been continuing their education. Right? I say all this to say that Trenton Public Schools is a great place to work. Right? We provide so many opportunities for those to come in, right, with education, right? If you want to continue your education, if you want to stay with us for literally decades, right, this is a great place to be. And we hope many people from the community can find Trenton Public Schools as a place that they want to stay with for many years to come. So I hope that we can approve this HR recommendation, this report, and bring many people into the district so they can serve the children we have here in Trenton.
I'm going to step in for our Vice President, Denise Johnson, who fell ill this evening. Just want to say a prayer of silence for her. She's doing well, but she just wasn't feeling well, so that's why she's not here tonight. She's our chair of our policy committee. On the agenda tonight, board members, we have a second reading on policy on use of electronic communication devices, and this will happen that we did our Yonder Pouch presentation today, and this particular policy is directly related to the Yonder Pouches in terms of us being in compliance and alignment with the policy, the regulations of our superintendent implementing the Yonder Pouches in our schools, and so it lines up perfectly with that particular strategy and regulation. So that's all we have tonight. So we did not meet on Thursday. Our meeting was on Thursday night. I had some challenges, plus my birthday was Thursday night, so I wasn't going to meet with them anyway. I was 60 on Thursday, so thank you. I don't look 60. I know I don't look 60. I know. But 40, right? Yeah, right, 40. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll go on to Larry Traylor, FACE School Support. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Board President. The FACE Committee met on November 12th, and we discussed the school brand design logo updates with all individual schools. Like, as we saw, the district-wide had a logo update, which is amazing. All of our schools will be having them individually, so they're having focus group sessions. They're going to be meeting with the school communities and really, modernizing it so that it looks similar to the district logo, but it is unique for each school. We also discussed some of the Thanksgiving drive, holiday drives, and around the food pantry. In the month of October, the food pantry fed about 134 families receive food bags, which is about 308 children and 425 adults. So in total, 736 household members benefited from the work that was done through the food pantry in the month of October alone, which is amazing. They also discussed on the 25th, they're going to be having a Thanksgiving basket distribution. They're working to distribute a minimum of 200 baskets to families, along with a holiday drive distribution on December 11th, working with parent liaisons to select students within district to take advantage of that opportunity. We also discussed the focus around building out the Parent Connect Conference, which will be held in 2026 at the high school. And we discussed, food access concerns during the government shutdown, along with the fact that, and one of the big things that they told us is that our school pantries remain open for food distribution with Mercer Street Friends at all 3 locations during the shutdown, making sure that our students in most need, especially with SNAP, was able to take advantage of food access that we have in our schools. We also discussed for next conversation to discuss some of the HIB reporting for our next monthly meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to echo something that you mentioned about, not necessarily about SNAP, but as school business administrators, Jan and I know that the federal reimbursement and state reimbursements were not held back. In other words, students that are free, or were universal free in the city of Trenton, but those reimbursements were not held back from school districts. There's a lot of questions out there. I got several questions about whether or not students would receive free meals during that time of the government shutdown. They did receive the meals, and the city, Board of Ed, and other boards of ed around the state receive reimbursements for those meals for those students. That would have been a real scare, because I know in some districts it's millions and millions and millions of dollars in reimbursement that come in to support the food programs for our children, breakfast and lunch, not only here in the city of Trenton, but around our county and around our state. So thanks for that comment. Thanks for those board committee chair comments. Public participation will be next. And we have Dr. Carolyn Gibson of National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Incorporated Pi Chapter.
Ooh, this brings back memories.
And your team.
Big memories, wow. Well, good evening, Board President Trueheart, board members, Superintendent Earl, and public. We want to come to say hello to those who know us and meet those who don't know us. As the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa Pi Chapter, the sorority itself was founded in 1923. We're one of the oldest educational sororities. Pi Chapter itself was established, chartered in 1933. So since 1933, we've been serving and helping and supporting the Trenton school system. And we still continue to do that. Just wanted to let you know, we are still partnering every year, trying to make sure things happen with us, to make sure that we are supporting your goals that you have as far as the students. And our national sorority has a call to action for literacy. All of our 1,500 chapters will be doing literacy in their regions. So we're going to do our literacy here. Our chosen school this year is Gregory School. And we plan to do a reading program with Gregory School with their first graders. So that's our literacy project that way. Also, we want to make sure we are still giving out scholarships. Over the last several years, we've given over $100,000 in scholarship. And we plan to keep on doing that as long as we can. We're also very proud to say that for the last 35 years, we've had a practice review program where you've hired some of our folks who've passed the practice because of our services we've given to them. So we want to keep that going as well, too. Also looking at a lot of the things we've done, we've always come here for the extravaganza. We've always had a table for that. We were here last time for the professional development at Trenton schools. We were here for the reality fair for the students. We'll do that again on December 5th. So we try to keep our feet in the door, keep our heads high, and help you support your students as best we can. So we want to make sure that you know we appreciate what you do as well, too, and that how you come and support our annual scholarship luncheon. December 6th, from 11 to 3, at the Cobblestone Creek Country Club in Lawrenceville, we'll have our 66th scholarship luncheon. I've given tickets to the superintendent. Feel free to buy one. We don't have a problem with that at all. So again, thank you for your service to our students, and we look forward to continuing our partnership. And we have some handouts for you to see. We have a brochure about who we are, a copy of our newsletter. We put out one every month. So that's Pi Chapter. And again, thank you. It was a pleasure coming back to the old stomping grounds.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Dr. Gibson. And Cheryl and Talea and Jocelyn, thank you so much for being here. We now have Tina Clark. Okay. Divine Kids Academy and Preschool and Clark Community Connections. Thank you.
Good evening again. To the President, Mr. Trueheart, happy birthday.
Thank you.
To all of the esteemed board members. I am Tina Clark once again with Divine Kids Academy at 16 North Warren, and I am 1200 Stuyvesant. And I come here today to push reset and to ask you to do the same with me. So we had come here in September, as you know, with a request that we haven't fully finished with the board. I'm sure that we will, but I wanted to extend grace on that. I was at home this weekend preparing the substance of the other matter that I want to speak to you about. And as I was praying about it, I began to cry because the Lord reminded me, part of my why with this is I remember I was one of those mothers who need subsidies, right? I was on welfare. I didn't come from a blight situation. My mom was the first generation to go to college, and but I had a domestic violence situation that caused me to, be in that part of the system. I remember what it's like to be in those lines for people to treat you bad and they're just rude for like no reason, right? But in dealing with this situation, I want to extend grace about the communications that we had, about the past, what missteps, what didn't happen right. And you know what the Lord said to me? He said, you couldn't have done what she did, because while I was frustrated because there were missteps, right? Nothing great ever happens without missteps. Nothing great ever happens where everything is perfect and neat and nice. That's only the people who don't go for something great, right? So we all understand that. I mean, even Divine Kids Academy, who I'm here with, she's been over 20-some years, but does she have a record that says every inspection was perfect and there was never something that needed to be addressed? No, we all understand that's not how we get here. So I'd like to first say on those issues, I don't want to spend the energy and time revisiting the history ad nauseum. I want to embrace grace so that we can move forward to do what you said. Come together about solutions. Come together about why we're really here. It's not who didn't, why didn't, when did it, wasn't perfect. Who can ever stand on anything that they've done perfectly? But to embrace solutions, because like you said, it's about our children that we're here to guard and protect. And so I offer that. While I would never be that angry, hostile person, the critique, like Monday morning quarterbacking, right? Nobody needs that energy in them. It's not helpful. And so I want to assure you that I'm here to do what you said. Engage in a positive way. We're not hostile, we're not your enemies. I am now excited beyond excitement, because once we can stop being frustrated with each other, the only thing that's in the way is the real issues and the real concerns that create barriers for our children, and that's what we're all here for. And so I submit that issue for a later time, that we can always revisit that, and when you allow me to, I will address the solid issue. Thank you. So I give you back also my 15 seconds, President, that you took from me last time. You know my 15 seconds that you took away from me last time? I'm giving it back. But also, I wanted to welcome you. I had a chance to listen to the recording. I think you joined last session. Am I right? Right. Welcome. And thank you so much for your service. Thank you to everyone for such a time as this. I'm very proud to hear about your certification for the board itself, right? That amongst the some 600 districts that we are models. I want to say that great things can come from Trenton, and Trenton makes models. And so for that, I stand with you. If you have something else, I'll be back.
All right, thank you, Sister Clark, appreciate that. We'll now move on to board discussion and action on consent agenda. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Joel Trueheart.
Yes.
Denise Johnson, absent. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels-Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Yolanda Lopez. Larry Traylor.
Yes.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Danelli De Leon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Board member comments? NJSBA update?
Yes, so, first, comments, right?
That was that. You can go first.
Okay, go first?
Yeah,
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I just wanted to commend the children for the work they did with project-based learning. So that's really significant from my vantage points, because they actually said that they would improve graduation rates by 15% by 2028, very specific, and reduce dropouts by 1%. That's a big deal when you look at the work that we're doing and the fact that they outlined a plan that folks could get behind. And I do the money part. That didn't sound like a huge financial investment to work with these babies to bring some of that, if it makes sense, right? To make some of that stuff go. So kudos to them. That's my first. And then I owe the board president, Brother Gerald, an apology because I told him I was going to do something and I didn't do it. So I'm going to do it now. So when you think about the operations committee and the work that we do, the majority of our work is on goal 5. So your homework assignment is to go to the school, the district website, and look up goal 5 so that you could understand what I'm talking about, right? And then there's 2 additional pieces. Goal 2, when you look at all of the investment that we make in our teachers and our staff, that's a goal 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's goal 4, which is staff development and well-being. And then there's also goal 2, when I speak about the donations, right? That's community engagement and partnerships. So I will do better next time, Brother Gerald, to describe it. But it's important, especially as we move to doing the new strategic plan, our 5 goal areas won't change. We'll establish different goals and tweak them, but the focus, number 1, is student achievement. And so when you think about that, as you listen to our feedback, try to connect the dots for yourselves to know where we're spending the money and why it's a priority for us. That's it. How'd that do, Jane?
Great.
You feel better, Brother President? I know I let you down.
No, you did an excellent job, Brother Gene. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. So for me, just a couple things. So in terms of the implementation of the Yonder pouches, so it seems like the district is a step ahead because, quite frankly, there's legislation now discussing the whole cell phone policy for the state of New Jersey. And so certainly, we have to, hold our heads high in the fact that we're doing some things ahead of what the state is considering in terms of, monitoring and control of the cell phone policy. So we're a step ahead. And I just want to, commend the district for being a step ahead, right? And working out the kinks. And hopefully our program is aligned to whatever it is the state comes up with that they're still working on, right? So I just needed to say that. Okay. And also, just wanted to say for the students that were engaged in project-based learning, I mean, that is certainly, something that we can learn from throughout the district, right? Because using real-world scenarios, that's really good work, right? And having the students think through, set goals, think through, and come up with some solutions. I especially like the ideas that they came up with in terms of I believe the 9th graders that talked about the various supports that you would give to students that are perhaps considering or on the verge of dropping out, and how we can get them to change that trajectory. All right, so I like that. And then the other thing is, I wanted to say kudos to Phi Delta Kappa in terms of their work in the community. And I can say for myself, having received a scholarship from them 50 years ago, and certainly here, I benefited from that, never had to worry about it, never had to think about it, and for 4 years, they supported my education. And so certainly, as I said, I can give a testament to the work that they do. Yeah. And so it's because of them and the district that I can sit here and give back my time now. So I just need to say that. So.
Good.
Good
Larry,
evening.
do you have anything? I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
Can I go? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say I was really impressed with that project-based learning program. Especially the calendar what the kids came up with managing anxiety, managing anger. The kids came up with that. That's something, when the kids are involved, we'll be more successful. And I think that's important that we look at the whole project and the results of it. The other thing I was really impressed with was the student government kids speaking up. But one of the things I did get from them is they're asking for more security in the high school. And when the kids are asking for security, I think we need to listen. And, you know, do we have the SROs officers in place this year? How many security guards are in the halls? What are they feeling? What's going on that they're feeling there's not enough security is what my question is, I guess. And I think we really, you know, they know what's happening in there. They get the feelings from the whole vibe, and I think we have to really pay attention to that. And that's all I've got for now. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I do want to shine light to the fact, like everyone has been saying, to the Future Forward project-based learning. I think that was just an excellent initiative that they did over the summer, especially not only that it was student-led, but the small groups with teachers. And I think that really builds, like when there's like intimacy between a student and a teacher, that really helps them get more confident, even when we think of like college and for their future. And I love the fact that they mentioned that they ask real life questions. And if possible, like I wasn't able to see the responses of what prevents them from, like, you know, dropping on. I would love to read that. Like, I wanted to see what were the responses. And then also I want to shine light to the PI chapter, because I see my teacher here, which was, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, so I benefited from her teaching style. I don't know if I can say her name, but just shout out to Miss Avery. So she was just an excellent, also thespian from what I remember. So to see her here is just like, I'm just so honored and kind of like a full circle moment. So thank you.
I was trying to go boy, girl, that grammar school, that didn't work.
I see what you do, Mr. President. All right. So I also wanted to add with the Future Forward presentation, and I don't know if we can bring up the slides or anything like that, but for me, slide 14 was absolutely spectacular because it really focused on kind of the full circle of the program, right? And how it connects with the work that we're already doing with the district, right? Not only did it focus on, you know, grade 9, but also grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12, right? And what I really loved was the idea that this was an intercultural program, right? That each mentor would pair up with a mentee that was of a different culture, right? And that is really transformative because that is in line with what we're already doing here in the district, right? You know, with our K-3 program, where we're already trying to teach our kids, you know, multi-language learners, right? You know, where it's not just, you know, our kids that are already understanding English, like, you know, they're paired up with kids that are trying to, you know, that already know Spanish, right? And like, you know, cross-cultural learning, right? Because what we're trying to do here in the district, understanding the children that already live here, we're trying to prepare our kids to become global citizens, right? That's not the world of the future. That's the world that we're in right now. And so understanding that that's where these kids are already projecting themselves to be and able to capture that is absolutely amazing. So I love the presentation that they were able to do. I'm excited for, you know, what the future generation, the future leaders of Trenton are doing, right? Because they're just, I sit back and say to myself, right, I'm just like, yo, these kids at 16, 17, 18, right, are leaps above where I was, all right? Listen, just trying to get by at 22, all right? Like, this law school thing, all right, it's just, I was trying to get by in D.C., all right? But these kids are just absolutely killing it already, and I'm excited for the future of what Trenton already has. I'm very excited just for that specific piece and solving the problems that we have just to make sure that kids are able to graduate on time and be able to become really global citizens, not just here in Trenton, New Jersey, not just the United States, but across the entire world.
I'll keep it short. I just want to, I agree with everything that has been said. I echo it, but I want to emphasize that two of the things that I really did like is, first of all, that because we have the students mentoring other students, we really are helping them build leadership skills, something that is really necessary in all areas, in all aspects of their lives. So that's a great way to develop those leadership skills. And also the fact that they acknowledge that we need each other. We cannot work in a vacuum. We need each other. And so then we can truly say, together we thrive. So kudos.
Absolutely, and I was going to just copy or chime in on what you said about the pathfinders and the peer mentoring. I think that that's so important because I don't think we think about what things a 11th or 12th grader is experiencing in life that a 9th grader will not think about right then and there because they're in 9th grade, that by seeing an older colleague or older student that is mentoring them and talking to them, apply for colleges, figure out what they want to do with their lives. Like, it gives them an earlier chance to actually sit down and sit with the weight of all of that. Because especially when you're in 9th grade coming into high school, like, you're not thinking about what is your college plans, So I think that that's really important to have that, mentorship, especially, when, the city has historically been known as, kids don't leave their section of the Trenton, kids don't really go out and explore much. So to be able to engage with students that may not necessarily come from the same part of town as you, that may not come from the same background as you, helps really, gives you the exposure to really imagine what possibilities of life are for you. A few things, I agree with my colleague, Jeannie, when Jeannie was talking about the importance of the kids coming to speak to us. I'm so happy that each meeting this year we've had different students from the high schools come and tell their, come and speak to us. I think it's really amazing to see students, practice public speaking and leadership skills and also advocate for their colleagues or for their peers. I remember Superintendent, we was talking about at the last SSDS HIB presentation, was talking about the rules around vaping. I know that students was talking about that, so I would love to see, especially the next time Terrence come in, how the district is trying to build up strategies around that, because it seems like the students are, even within themselves, concerned about, students going into the bathrooms and vaping and all that stuff. So deeply interested in that. And from the legislative committee for the School Board Association, as the board representative for us on that committee, the committee will be meeting December 6th. We meet quarterly, so we have not met since the beginning of the fall, but we will be meeting December 6th. We have had some legislative updates, bill updates. As we know, a recent election has happened, so we're in lame duck season in the state legislature, so that means that, the governor's term limited, he's walking out, and, politicians are voting on and passing bills that they may not pass before the election because of politics. So I'm going to read through some of the bills right now that has been signed, some bills that will be signed, just to give a short synopsis. But first, I would like to congratulate our school board members that have been reelected this month, and I'm looking forward to continue working with y'all this upcoming year and this upcoming term. So thank you. Congratulations for your reelection, Austin, Jeannie, and congratulations on your election, Denelli. So just to quick, I'm not going to read the whole list, but they send us a list, and I'll share with all the board members as well. The governor has conditionally vetoed a bill establishing a chronic absentee task force. It has passed both houses, but it might but it wasn't a full veto, so hopefully the legislature will revise it and it will get passed. The governor also signed a bill requiring public schools and certain non-public schools to comply with the most stringent school lunch and breakfast nutrition standards. There was a bill signed requiring student identification cards to contain telephone number for suicide prevention hotlines. That was signed over the summer. There was a bill establishing requirements for school counselor certifications, outline roles and duties of school counselor, and requires professional development for school counselors. I thought it was interesting, one of the bills, it was to teach, requiring school districts to provide instruction on the history of Latinos and Hispanics as a part of implementing the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. That was signed by the governor this fall. So, and finally, a bill that's waiting for the governor's signature right now is a bill extending the deadline for the completion of school district's annual audit for the 2024-2025 school year. So that's just some of the short legislative updates.
I have to, one thing is to commend the public. I think it's one of the first times I've seen the public stay to the end. Wow. I mean, that is biblical patience. You can be patient. Normally people are patient, but they complain. That's not biblical patience. You're patient and you're calm and you're listening to us and you're taking everything in. And I just want to commend the public for your participation as well as your patience this evening. And thank you so much for staying on board with us to the very end. We appreciate you. One of the things I did want to share, when I got this from the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa, I had a chance to look through this. On the front cover, I want the board, the public to recognize that probably 99% of the women who are in the photos throughout this publication are either retired from Trenton Public Schools or are currently working in the Trenton Public School system. That's phenomenal work. And it shows a lot about who we are as a district and who we are as a city. I see Dr. Cherie Smith on the front cover. I see Jeanette Mayfield on the front cover. I see Dr. Julie Thomas, long time, on the Crystal Feliciano, our councilwoman. Ivy Avery, who was mentioned, right? Ivy Avery. Harriet Murray, a long-time administrator, principal in the city of Trenton here in public schools. Janice Williams, Trina Williamson, and others whose names I may not know, but I know their faces. But again, 99% of the women you see throughout this publication are either retired Trenton Public School employees or current Trenton Public School employees. And that's just a testimony to the work that they continue to do as a sorority. One of the things that I also noticed in the pamphlet is there's a picture of me in here. I'm famous now, y'all. I'm famous, man. Guess who I'm sitting next to? This man right here. And my wife on one side, but the man right here. And Hope Grant's right next to him, so I know I'm in good company. No, that's just good stuff. I wanted to share that. And then one of the things that Gene, you had mentioned about the alignment, right, of our goals to our agenda items. When I came on as president, and I had a conversation about this in governance committee with the entire board, and superintendent, of course, first of all, we want to align everything you see on the agenda that we're approving. We want it lined up with our district goals for that year. And of course, the district goals then line up with our strategic plan. I think that sets the stage for us to share with the public how we are mirroring our strategic plan, our district goals, and how they line up with how we're spending the money and how we're allocating resources through our business administrator, Jane Howard, our superintendent, Mr. James Earl, and all the staff and administrators in our district. But that's going to help us chart the course for our next strategic plan, because now we have everything aligned and lined up with our strategic plan, our district goals that speak to us every single board meeting. So you see something on the agenda that you have a question about, look at the goal. Look at that goal number 5, that goal number 1 on student achievement, that goal number on facilities and resources, that goal on developing the whole child, that goal on staff development, right? And you'll be able to then kind of chart the course for where we're going and how we're actually allocating resources to support our teachers in our classroom, to support our students and the like. So that was something that was very important that this board unanimously agreed with, and we moved forward with the support of our support of the administration in the district, with the London District Superintendent. The other thing that I did want to share briefly, at least my last comment for tonight, is I will be presenting at November 20th, Thursday's meeting for the county, along with 2 other business administrators in the Mercer County area. One is Katie Atwood from Hamilton. The other is Derek Mead from West Windsor. I'm assistant BA in Lawrence Township School District, also president of the Trenton Board of Ed. But we're going to be presenting to our county here in Trenton, at our county meeting right here in Trenton. And I am so honored to be able to be here to present to my fellow board members and the other board members in the county. We have 2 distinguished other business administrators in the county. That's going to be at our county meeting on November 20th. So board members, if you haven't registered, please register and be there. Be there, lock it in and be there. The other thing that came out of Karen Callahan sent out a 3 R's professional development training just before the Mercer County meeting. I think it's a pretty good session. You get statewide regional credit from the NJSBA, New Jersey School Boards Association. It's called the 3 R's Training for Board Member Success. It's just before it. She sent the email out about 8:02 this morning on Monday, November 17th. So check out your emails. If you can register for that, get here early. I think it'd be great for all of us to get that training. One more feather in our cap, right? One more feather in our cap in terms of training. And it is a certification opportunity, but you have to register twice. You have to register for that particular training as well as for the county meeting. I think that's all that I have. Anybody else have any comments at this time?
Okay, so the Board of Directors report from New Jersey School Boards, are we doing that now?
Yes, you can do that now. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So the Board of Directors for New Jersey School Boards met on this past Friday, and at that time, it was reported that the audit was completed, that there is a surplus in their budget. There was an unmodified opinion, so there was no issues and everything was reconciled. They also at that time reviewed the governance courses, 1, 2, 3, and 4 that are being updated, and they're incorporating an interactive model that has a AI chat box person named Carla, and you have to interact with Carla during the training, again, for governance 1, 2, and 3, and Carla will ask you questions, but she will not give you answers. So that's going to be new for next year when you have to do those trainings. Also, there was a comment about folks before who would turn on the training and walk away, and now you can't do that because Carla is asking you questions back and forth, and you have to stay connected, right? And respond. Also, they reported on Workshop 2025, which was held in October. It was a tremendous success. There was a lot of feedback. Most people appreciated the workshops. The timing, however, was an issue for some, and the lunch issues and lunch lines, that was problematic, so they're looking at that particular, how to address that particular situation. For legislative update that they mentioned that they are developing an advocacy agenda for 26-27, and they're going to have a representative of the legislative committee to meet, to speak at the next board meeting. Also, they talked about strategic planning and how there's going to be an area on the website, if you're undergoing the strategic planning process, that you can key into this particular location on the website, and the community can also see like how you're doing in your strategic planning journey. So that's going to be on the website. They also talked about the state health benefits plan, right? Because New Jersey School Boards has employees, and those employees are part of the state health benefits plan. And so, quite frankly, they're looking to jump ship, right, in terms of to look for alternatives to the state health benefits program, because it's being projected that there will be a 50% increase in the next few years. So they're looking to find a different carrier for New Jersey School Boards Association, period. And they also said that New Jersey School Boards has a seat on the commission that heads the State Health Benefits Association, but if we leave the plan, then we'll probably lose the seat in terms of being a commissioner on the plan, and sometimes there's an advantage to being one of the commissioners, right? So that was part of the discussion, but right now they're leaning to jump ship for that particular piece. And the other piece they talked about was policy manuals, that they're going to be free policy manuals for the districts, not regulations themselves, but actual policy manual, but no regulations. There's also going to be available crisis management assistance that's available to the various districts, and there will be an HR hotline. And it won't be legal advice, but there are questions. If you have a question about HR, you'll be able to dial in and ask them questions. But again, don't consider it to be legal advice. Consult your attorney for that. In addition, they talked about a civility initiative, which I thought was interesting. And so there's going to be a specific civility initiative and a civility pledge, and all those kind of. They want us to adopt a civility resolution. That will be for next year, and also a pledge to, in fact, incorporate civility, right? So evidently there's a lot of concern, and we know we've had some concerns in the past. We don't have those concerns right now. However, a lot of boards are being challenged in terms of this whole civility thing. So again, that's an initiative that New Jersey School Boards is taking up. So those are some of the highlights from the Board of Directors and also the county leadership meeting that I just wanted to share, and also the meeting that's coming up on this Thursday.
It shows we have leadership on this board. Addie serves as second vice president for Mercer County School, first vice president of Mercer County School Boards Association. And Larry, of course, is on the legislative committee. We have two delegates to the Mercer County, which is Denise Johnson, and and Jeannie Weekland is our other delegate. So not only leadership here in Trenton, but leadership at the county level, and I'm sure we're going to be at the state level soon. Addie. Board of Directors, state level? Okay, there we go. All right. Any other comments? All right, move to executive session. No. Public comment is over. Public comment time is over. Public comment time is over. Next board meeting. We'll hear from you next board meeting. Thank you.
No, go ahead. We'll talk afterwards.
No new business, executive session. Whereas Open Public Meeting Act codified in SJ 10:4-6 permits the exclusion of the public from meeting under certain circumstances. And whereas the Trenton Board of Education is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, indicated as follows: any material considered for confidential by federal law, state statute, or court rule, any pending or anticipated litigation or contract negotiations to which the board is or may become a party to, any matter falling within attorney-client privilege to the extent that confidentiality is required to preserve the attorney-client relationship and allow the attorney to exercise his or her ethical duties as a lawyer. Matters captioned: settlement, AL, OBO, JL versus Trenton Public Schools. Action. Negotiations update, discussion. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Trenton Board of Education, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, that the executive session will be held on November 17, 2025 for the statutory permissible purposes indicated in this resolution. Be it therefore resolved that action may be taken by the board when it reconvenes in open session. Be it finally resolved that the minutes of the executive session with regard to the above subject matter shall be disclosed to the public at a later date, and to the extent that the same is not prejudicial to the interests of the parties involved, no longer adverse to the public interest or does not endanger any individual rights to privacy. Reason why we're giggling is because we're going to shorten this for the next couple board meetings. This is just too long, so we're going to shorten our executive session resolution. So we go right into executive session and come back out here and share with all of you our decisions. So, motion to go into executive session. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Gerald Trueheart.
Yes.
Denise Johnson, absent. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Larry Trailer. Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Janelle De Leon.
Yes.
Adjourn to executive session. Let me see this thing.
Be careful, because we get written up since we've been doing it.
Yeah, don't. Let me.
I do.
All right, folks, we're back in public session. Could I have a motion to accept the settlement agreement?
I like to move we approve the settlement with docket number EDS 02379-2025S.
I would like to second.
Probably moved and seconded. Roll call.
Gerald Trueheart.
Yes.
Denise Johnson, absent. Gene Bowie.
Yes.
Addie Daniels Lane.
Yes.
Austin Edwards.
Yes.
Yolanda Lopez.
Yes.
Larry Trailer.
Yes.
Jeannie Weeklam.
Yes.
Denali De Leon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wow. Probably moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So we adjourned.
Sing America.